hello, and welcome to the Heart, Mind, and Voice Show. Hi, guys. Ladies and
Hello.
gents.
Hey, hey,
Welcome
hey.
and hello, audience. We're so happy to be on tonight, and we have a phenomenal show for you guys tonight because we are doing it millennial styles. We have some very, very special and intriguing guests tonight with us. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce us so we can get this ball rolling. Okay. I am Shalonda, aka it's Happy Bill. We have Miss Keneen, known as Queen K. We have a fabulous Serious K, known as Serious K. And for our special
Well,
guest, we have a very beautiful young lady, and I'm going to let her tell a little bit about her phenomenal self. Miss Jamie, you have the floor, honey. About you, Jamie.
Yeah, so hey guys, I'm Jamie. I'm a plant mom. I'm a sister, daughter, auntie, cousin. And in the meantime, keep me busy. I'm an interior designer. We have an Instagram page if you guys want to follow it. It's J Vontae Designs. And then I also do a podcast with all of my best friends, and it's titled For the People. So I could be a pretty busy girl, but I always make time for family and friends.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to the show, Jamie. We are so
Thank
glad to have
you.
you here tonight, and we
Thank
cannot
you.
wait to hear what you're going to share with us. And we're moving on to our handsome Mr. J Man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jay, and welcome to the show.
Hi, how is everyone doing? I'm Jalil, or you call me Jay. I love doing music. I go to school for cybersecurity. Um, I work on a small time jobs for now, but I love going out partying with my friends. I love doing clothes, designing clothes. I'm trying to make my own clothing line as a business. And yeah, I'm very outgoing person. I don't like staying at home at all.
Yes, millennials do not. And then we have some that think
Um,
like Canadian that don't like to stay at home either. But moving on with the show, guys. Welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you tonight. We're going to jump right in. But before we jump into our awesome topics tonight, I just want to pay homage and give a special acknowledgement to our very own Miss Cicely Tyson. She died over a week or two ago, and we did not mention it last week. So I just wanted to give a special tribute to her. She was a beautiful, phenomenal woman, actress, just everything about her, set the stage, and we will truly miss her. So I just wanted to pay homage to her. So moving on with the show, are you guys ready tonight? Is this a
yes.
So I just want to move and talk about a little bit about Hot Topic, the movie that everybody has been talking about, the Wendy Williams movie. Now, Wendy Williams is my girl. She crazy, but that is my girl. That movie. Did everybody watch it? Did we all watch it, or did I just watch it?
I
Okay,
did
No,
good.
we don't think you watched it as much as you have.
right. I
I
did it
know.
but it's okay. It was good. I watched it.
One time was enough.
I will mention
Right.
one highlight in the movie that all of us, so many people can take away because, I always mention this. This is one thing about this show. We're heart, mind, and voice. We're healing the heart, renewing the mind, all through the power of transparency. So one thing that I would like to point out to where it can be definitely healing or renewing, to someone is that she overcame her struggle. And though she went through a lot, and Wendy has her thing about her, she loves to talk about the people. That's how she became Wendy Williams. That's how she made her living. But the one thing is that she never gave up. And so that's one thing that I would love to point out, and that really caught my attention because we saw her as one way. And I don't know, Kim, if you'll admit it, but we would be like, oh, I don't want to watch Wendy Williams. She always talking about the people. And, always putting down people, but no one knew her story. And it's like you never know a person's story, until they invite you into their life. And so for her to think of us enough to invite us, and she may not, obviously, she could not have share every minute and detail of her life. But what she did share, because if you watch the documentary, it was amazing, what she conquered and what she went through. And look at her now. Who would not want to be, you know, somewhat doing what she's doing, or at least have the accolades that she have, you know what I'm saying, and the money and everything else that comes along with it. So I think that, that part you can take away is that no matter what you're going through, everybody have their own individual story. So you hold on to your story and you make your story is worthwhile. Her story was worthwhile because, like I said the other day. So that's major, that's important, and that was one of the greatest things that I took away from her life, her story. Did anybody?
You know what I love? You
What?
know what I loved about her story is that, and this is just goes to our millennials that's on the show today, is that she started out as, very young in her career and she progressed forward and she made up her mind to accomplish something. And she just kept moving forward. So I love that about her because that's even like today, how the millennials are today. They are always pressing and always moving forward. And it's like, despite of everything that's going on in the world, like the pandemic, the police reform, all, police brutality, all different things, racism, it goes to show how the youth of today, especially the millennials, are really pressing forward. And we have some radical millennials that really stepping up. And I'm pretty sure Jay and Jamie are both, that way as well. But it just goes to show how, as young people, how they're really pushing through with everything that's going on in society. So that's what the show brought to me. It just showed how her story as well kind of relate to what young people are going through, how they press forward in their career.
Yeah, that's definitely something to highlight. Kim, did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, and I saw another lesson in that. Watching the show, like how her mom just kind of like let her go out in the world. She had no guidance at all, and they never really motivated her. They kind of like talked down on her, about her weight and stuff like that. So a lot of the mistakes she made was because of low self-esteem and no guidance, and that's why she turned out. But she, like you said, Shalonda, Happy Bill, she overcame those things, So it was the hard way, but she overcame it. She conquered it all. So that's what I got out of it. A lot of parents, like just watching that show, you can see how you can make mistakes and you can mess up with your kids. And just watching Wendy go through that stuff, I hope some parents look at it and say, okay, I need to step up in my kids' life and talk to them about the world, talk to them so that they don't get out there in that big world, just eat them up and they don't know nothing. They get lost.
Right.
She was kind of lost in the world, So, yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of, getting lost in the world, we're going to move right into our topics. And one of the things that I know that many can get lost in, and that is love. One of the main topics tonight that, that people absolutely love to talk about and people are drawn to, and that is love. I'm talking that raunchy love. Growing up, I don't know if it's our generation or millennial, but I'm gonna go out on the limb and say our generation. I don't know, millennials might have some worse.
I think the millennials have a whole different type of love.
Y'all, we're used to the ghetto love. I'm gonna leave it alone. But anyway, moving on. We're gonna highlight the millennial. We're gonna talk about the millennial love shack. So we're gonna talk about love, lust, and commitment, and what are the millennials' view on being in love, or just or being committed, or is commitment for real today, or is it necessary? Do you have time for it, or what do you think about marriage? Should you not get married and just stay, in boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, because marriage is really nothing but a piece of paper? I need to hear from Jamie and Jay right now. Hit it, Jamie.
I have to back up because it goes, marriage and all those things, they come from dating. And for millennials right now, we are all about social media. And so that really creates a big dating pool for us. We have a lot to choose from, And so it's very hard for us to commit because we can get what we want, like just off, a quick slide in the DMs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, dealing with that as a woman, it's hard to find a man who says like, okay, I'm taking dating seriously with you. Like I want to commit. It's hard to, because they don't have to. Nobody's pressing anything right now. And then and it's like, not only that, like social media also puts a lot of pressure on women on how they should look, because as of right now, all these men love, the curvaceous type of girl. So if you're not that, you kind of become like the girl in the corner that nobody really wants to get to know. So I would say it's very hard out there right now to find something real.
Oh, wow. Isn't it
Wow.
interesting? Okay,
Wow.
Jay, what is your thought on that? I got something on that.
Yes.
What do you think, Jay?
Marriage. Well, for me, of course, right now is not an option for me right now because, as millennials, I feel like we're more focused on our goals. Like we have to reach our goals first. We're more focused on our goals, and then worried about the marriage part. For example, hold on a moment, I got lost in my thoughts.
Talking about love and lust.
For example, my mom can
We
agree with
making
me.
you nervous?
This girl this girl I'm with, I like her a lot. And she want to get married, right? But I feel like together when we're together, we're lazy, it's toxic. That's not everybody in a couple, but it's just us two. Like we're lazy, we're toxic, we don't get things done. But when we're separate, we're not around each other. Everything gets done. We're more progressive, and yeah, marriage is just like
You don't know about that?
Well, what type of woman would you marry?
Oh, something happened with his connection.
Yeah, so we'll just come back to Mr. J. But I want to mention something that Jamie said right quick before Kim and Kenny, you give your thoughts on it. When you said that it's kind of hard, it's kind of hard out there. Our generation says the same thing. We're Generation X. We're the parents of all millennials, and so mostly. And so when you mention it's kind of hard out there, I hear a lot of my single friends that talks about it's hard out there trying to settle down with a good. I'm not even talking about a rich guy, but just a good, decent guy. So,
Yeah.
that's very interesting that you said it, even with the millennials, because I would think that you would think totally different from, the realization coming from us. What do you think? What are your thoughts, Kim Kaneen?
Well, Happy Bill, Darian and Facebook asked, what does marriage mean to you, Jamie? So they want to hear from you. Tell us what marriage means to you.
That's my best friend, guys. Yeah, he's actually married, so he may know more on the subject than I do. But marriage to me truly means like you find someone that you honestly can't live without. Like you want to enjoy life with them. It's somebody that you want to share life with. I don't see it as something as like, okay, you're locked down and this is the person I'm gonna be with forever. I just see it as somebody who like is a fun extension of you, and you guys it's just like your person. I think it's also something that's very spiritual and that connects you to God. And I think that that's another level of a relationship that, it takes you to the spiritual level that I feel like everybody craves.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think, Kim?
Well, like she said, like Jay was saying before he got off, I can see that a lot of millennials are more goal oriented,
Yeah.
even after they get married. because my son, we got started pressing him and his wife on having kids. But I know that they still have goals that they want to reach first,
Yeah,
even
Right.
in the marriage before they even have kids. So, and I love that about them. I love that about them. I have nothing against that, but I still want some grandbabies. And also with Jamie, I feel like it's also the kind of like the same way. Like she still have some goals and stuff she want of me, but her being a female,
yeah,
um, I can see where she'll probably move a little bit faster than her brother, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I
uh-huh.
like that. I like their way of thinking. The millennials are more goal oriented. They plan, they write stuff
Yeah.
down, and they stick to the plan. But
Mhm.
us Generation X, we were just kind of like going with the flow, like which way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really admire that about the millennials.
And I really like what you said, Jamie, about your view on marriage as far as it being spiritual, the way that you look at it. But one thing I want to ask you is that do you see yourself, or is this your preference, like as far as when you do decide to get married, do you want to do it the traditional way? Because I know millennials are not about traditions. Y'all are not about traditions, like out the door. So, do you want to do it the traditional way? Do you want to now get married and then have a family, maybe get your career out of the way, or it doesn't matter as far, I mean, you have a successful, booming career, so that's kind of like, in place. So, do you want to do it the traditional way or not really?
Me, I was raised very traditional. So
Uh-huh.
it's like it goes from, you have your career, you meet this fantastic guy, you guys date, you fall in love, you marry, you have kids. That's just all I knew, all I ever wanted. And so I did try the non-traditional route, just saying whatever happens, happens.
Yeah,
And it's just I'm such a planner and I need to know what's going on. I can't be confused. So
mhm,
I'm definitely gonna do it the traditional way. I just feel like it makes more sense. I want us both to be established first, be able to afford a wedding, be able to
yeah,
afford a baby. Yeah.
yeah, and just make sure that that stress is not a stress. Now,
Mm,
that's one thing I would definitely say that's a good way. And I am seeing more and more millennials
mhm.
get their career under their belt first, and
Yes.
then maybe, get married if they do want to get married and, start a family a much later, in life, which is, definitely idea and smart versus
Yeah.
raising when you're 18, 19, young and trying to get everything in place and you got these kids because, but I am a little on the non-traditional side as far as kid, not by choice, just so everybody knows, not by choice. But I have, being almost 50 years old, I have a little 9-year old. And if I had a choice, now I will say this, in speaking in my generation, if I had a choice, I would prefer it the other way. More so having a child younger, more like 29, between 29 and 30. I would say between 28 and 30, I think is a very good age to kind of, settle down, get married, and have that family. That way versus later, like, can y'all see me running after little 9-year-old? No, but I do. So I definitely would say that a good, kind of settled age between 20 and 29 would probably be ideal, as far as in my book. But I know that,
Yeah.
with guys is definitely, oh, we have a back. Welcome back, Jay.
Mhm.
So
Sorry.
no problem. No problem. You was making some good points, and then we know technology. You were making really good points about being in a relationship and it being a little toxic and not
Yeah,
really motivating.
I feel like you get distracted when you're in a
Mhm.
relationship, and then when both of the millennials have everything together, like all their stuff together, the relationship goes perfect. No struggle, no worries. It's just perfect. So I feel like before marriage, make sure you have your things together. Like worried about your responsibilities and everything before marriage. And that's why I feel like all the millennials is on.
Mhm.
And and that's
Absolutely.
Sorry about that.
No
But
problem.
I was gonna say for me too, like I got married young. Um, so I got married at 18, and part of the reason why our relationship broke up was because we had like different goals. Like, so what Jay said about, millennials. I mean, of course, I'm not a millennial, but just thinking about, just being married young, being married at 18, we had two different mindsets. Like I wanted to continue school, and he felt like, well, we have a family, so we were going in two different, tracks of life. So I was about, wanted to make money. Of course, he wanted to make money. Most men, definitely want to make money. So he worked a lot, but I was more aggressive in terms of, okay, I want a business, I want to go to school. And he's like, well, you're a mom, you're a wife, you shouldn't go to school. So, it goes to show how, when you get married young or your focus is on like relationships, sometimes, it's kind of like it's kind of like a hit and miss situation. If you're going to get married, or if you a serious relationship, can you both work together and be goal oriented in your goals together and your goals individually? So I think sometimes that get in the way of the thought process, because sometimes as you're growing and you're still young, you both have some ways to go. So you have learning lessons. It's like as you grow, you may have different viewpoints, and you realize that later on. So
Our audience member Darian says, "Do you believe that getting your career and goals under wrap helps for a stronger and healthier marriage?" Jay or Jamie?
No, I actually think that's for you guys. Like, if you're married, I know my mom is married, but what is you guys' viewpoint on that? Because I'm not married, so I don't know if that's going to make a stronger marriage or not. But you experiencing that, what do you think?
what about a healthy relationship, not just a marriage? What about a relationship?
Oh, do you really getting this together? I would say for me, yes, I am such like a person who's like a go-getter. I always am up for the challenge. So I need someone who is the same. If you're just sitting around and not doing that much, I'm like, okay, you're lazy. I'm not really liking where this is going. I don't feel like we're on the same page. So that's actually going to drift me away from you if I see that you're not at least on the road to where you want to be. Very
Yeah,
What'd you say, Jay?
I said I agree with her.
Yeah, yeah. So Kim, I want to ask Kim. Kim, what's your thought on that? Do you believe that having your goals and everything on the rep, do that helps for or makes for a stronger, healthier marriage?
Well, I think that depends on your career, and how busy you are, because
Mhm.
some careers can put a dampen on marriages, especially if you're always busy and you don't have time for it. Because you can have all the money in the world, you can have the best career in the world, but you not necessarily have a strong marriage. You
Yeah.
know, so
Mhm.
having a good career and a lot of money doesn't mean that your marriage is going to be strong and healthy. It depends on the mindset of the two people, and also your work ethic, and how much time you're putting into the marriage versus how much you're putting into the career. So no, not necessarily.
Be-
Ooh.
Well, so wait, wait,
Go
wait.
ahead, let Jay talk. Let Jay talk. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go Jay, go Jay.
no, um, because one moment, bro. Hold on, one moment. I'm sorry. That's true because you have to give time to your wife, because if the person with that great career is giving too much time to his job, then your wife is just sitting there like, I'm feeling lonely, and I feel like, to me, that's how cheating starts, because
Mhm.
you was so focused on your career and left your wife at home and sitting there lonely, not being the husband she wanted you to be, because you were so focused on the job part. So it's
Yeah.
kind of confusing. It's kind of confusing.
Mhm, mhm.
So,
Kanisha, you want
Definitely.
to add to that?
I'm glad this topic came up, because Happy Bill and I had this conversation, right? So, I guess based on experience, some people will say, because they've been hurt in relationships or whatever, they may say that, you know what, I'm marrying for money. I used to think the same way, like I'm going to marry for money, right? But as I grow older, I realize like I want love. So it's like, can you have money without, like, so in other words, if you get married to somebody for for money, and the love is not there? Will you get married for money when the love is not there? Or would you get married because you love the person, per se, like in other words, a relationship is good, is love there, but you may not have all the money or all the finances and everything. So that's a good question for the millennials. Like, how do you feel about that? Would you marry for someone who has all the money, or would you marry for someone that you love, but you are both doing great?
Marry someone I love, because I feel like we're gonna try to work it out. Like, everyone's not perfect. You feel me? Diamonds take pressure to make a diamond. Everyone's not perfect. So
Yes.
I feel like you have to work on a relationship, and once you give it a few tries, and like Jamie said, if you see the other person is not putting no effort towards it, then I think that's your answer. Like, you should leave that person. But if you see the person is trying with you, then maybe y'all can go in the right direction.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Oh, it's amazing the answers that I'm getting from these millennials. You guys are thinking how we move as your parents. But I'm sorry, I'm on this boat by myself. I think a little different. But it's getting close for us to wrap up this particular topic, but it's a very good topic, and I am very impressed by the way that millennials think. When it comes to love and commitment, I told you guys they are phenomenal because you guys think more traditional than I thought. Way more traditional than I thought. I'm kind of like out on the limb a little bit, and I think a little different. Through life and experience.
So wait, do you think that because it's grown folks? So, but the millennials, do you think because it's grown folks that they're being themselves, or do you think so? So Jay, when Jamie come back, we get to ask the same question. Is this really your mindset when it comes to relationships, or is it that because you're around grown folks and so are you being truthful in how you feel about relationships?
This is really my mindset, but someone people don't always go forth with their plan, so
right.
We stick to it. But that is really my mindset. So I'll be trying to stick to it, stick with my word. But it's like you settle for certain stuff because you like the person a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And we have an audience member, Isha. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jay. Sound like you were cutting out. I'm sorry.
I said you have to get past that.
Yeah.
And certain things slide, or like settle in for less. Yeah, there we go. Settle in for less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did Jamie say?
Well, I don't know. I logged out, but I'm back in. Can y'all catch me up? Or what was the question?
The question was about would you want to be with someone because you love them or because they got that bag? So you guys, I'm impressed how you guys think traditionally as far as, I want to marry for love. And millennials, most millennials, I will not say all, but most, because you guys are the exception to the rule. So you do have a few that think traditional, like, no, I want to marry for love. And, I just want to mention this because we got to wrap up this topic and go to the next one. But Aisha, is that her name, Aisha?
Aisha.
Cute. Says that I think you should love each other more than you love money.
Yes.
Again,
totally.
by myself.
Totally.
Life and experience, which is true. That's traditional, and that is true. That has worked for our parents. My parents been together for 100 years, 46 years, and 46 years, and definitely was love. And I've been, married, before, and in relationship, and now, you definitely want to marry because I'm married for love and broke. It wasn't about money at all. It was love and broke. So, am I married to that individual? So we're gonna move on to the next topic.
But I agree, marry for love. I agree, marry for love.
Yes.
That's right, marry for love for all the healing the hearts and renewing the mind. You know, marrying for love is the right way to go, the right thing to do. So definitely, make sure
But
that.
before we move on, Happy Bill, before we move on, really quick, it's just so I know this probably will be a topic that we discuss later in the future. But when you think about the wealthy, they marry for status. Sometimes they don't marry for love, but they grow in love. So that's a good topic. So I just later on, but that's a good
That's
topic.
really good because that's something my way of seeing things. So I like that. So stay tuned, believers, if y'all want to come back.
Yeah.
Because status is something.
Yeah.
So speaking of status, speaking of that bag, we want to talk about keeping the bag in the community, the Black community in particular. So I want, now we'll say this. There's so many entrepreneurs out there, and I mean, that are doing it and doing it well. And you see more and more videos that are really spearheading entrepreneurship, and they are like, they start off working for someone, maybe, but this is like the generation that has, I would say, the most when it comes to entrepreneurs, like 28 and 26 and 20 that are millionaires that are doing well. Wish I could make the amount of money that they were making at 25, So I want these moms to tell me, your thoughts and your views on keeping the money in the Black entrepreneurship and the Black businesses. Tell me that, Jay, what do you think about that?
You said Jay or Jamie?
Jay.
Okay.
He's like, okay.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Tell me more about, keeping the money in the Black businesses, supporting our Black businesses. What are your thoughts and views on that?
All right. So, as Black people, right, we rather spend our money. Let's say if our friends were selling a clothing line, and it looks good, you like it, and they tell you $60, they tell you a high price, and you're like, oh no, for that. But at the same time, you would spend that same money on Gucci, on Tommy Hilfigers, on brands that's racist, that don't even support Black people.
Very good point.
Yep.
We'd rather spend the money on that instead of just supporting another Black person, trying to keep the Black dollar in the community. For another example, I went to a smoothie place. I was with my friend. There was a Black-owned smoothie place. There's another smoothie place. I think, what is it called? Smoothie King? Sure. And the Black-owned smoothie place tastes so good. The Black-owned one tastes so good, but it's a little bit more expensive. And my friend said, oh, just because it's a little bit more expensive, I'm not going to shop there. Black people always doing that, But I'm looking at him like, say that when you're going to spend your high dollar, your high quality at somewhere else. He was like, oh, because the quality is better. I'm just looking at him like, even if the quality is better, the quality of the Black-owned price is never going to get better because you never want to spend your money there.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
We got to change the mindset. Good. Another example, Jewish people always sticks together. They have their own community, their own everything, their own stores. Why can't we be like that?
I want to touch on that too, because with the Asian community, a lot of different cultures have this like monetary system to where it's like everyone in their circle puts money into a bucket or an account. And at the end of every month, however much that they have raised, they give it to one of those person's businesses. And that's how they stay afloat through, recessions and those things. And I wish that for Black people that we can get that sense of community or just trust each other enough, in our close friends to do something like that, because we're already spending the money. Like we are one of the biggest consumers in the US. Why, why can't we got to do better?
Yes.
Absolutely. What did you want to say about that, Kimmer?
I just wanted to say, we were kind of talking about support and our support system. And I can't remember what that meme said, but it was something like they won't support you until it becomes popular to support you.
Yes.
That's kind of how we think.
Definitely
That's
not.
Yes.
think. So they'll wait. You can have a good product, you can have something awesome, but if their friend is not supporting you, if they don't see their friends supporting you, or if they don't see hundreds and thousands of people supporting you, or if you're not like popular in the community, then they're not going to support you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
We do that a lot. It's, girl, what are you doing? Are you gonna go over there? Are you gonna buy from them? Oh, I ain't gonna buy from them either. You know what I'm saying? We have this stinking thinking is what I call it. So I truly believe in keep the money, keep the bag in the community. Just give the business a chance. You know, don't do what everybody else is doing. We're like the saying, crabs in a bucket. We want to pull each other down. You see this person is better than you, then you want to hate on them, you want to talk bad about them and this and that. That's why we can't stay afloat. That's why we can't stay on top. You know, we need to be leaders. We're very people. We are very powerful people. We have a lot of smart Black people, a lot of great entrepreneurs with great, and if we all just come together, do y'all know how we will conquer the world? If we just come together, oh my God.
And you know, wow, that was I love what Series K just said. I mean, that was very powerful. And I just wanted to add to that because I remember having a conversation. I couldn't understand why. Well, first of all, you know, being from New York, in the nail salons, it was like a nail salon on every corner, and predominantly, you know, Philippines and from the Asian community. But they are very competitive with their prices, you know, typically $25. And you go to a Black salon and they want to charge $70. So, you know, as a Black person, like, okay, you know, we want to make sure our dollars are, you know, just saved. So, so I can say this, I would prefer to support a Black person, but I would look at the price. I'm like, well, why am I going to pay $70 and I can just go here and pay $25? But I get the mindset because as a Black person, like, you know, in my opinion, if I'm going to charge higher, it's important as a business owner to be competitive in your pricing. But when you have people that's not supporting you because they go into these other areas because they charging less, sometimes as Black people we have to charge a bit more because we got to be aggressive with trying to, you know, get the money in the community, keep the money, you know, keep the bag in the community, keep the bag coming to us, the money coming to us. So sometimes we have to be aggressive in our prices and charge higher. But I would say this, Black people are very, very creative. I mean, and the work that we do is amazing. The thing for us is that we have to learn is first support each other. And it's like we're not going to get the support from other races or even be a part of like just, you know, collectively as a group of people, in, you know, in all races until we come together ourselves. So how do we come together for ourselves and really support each other and really growing? And Jamie, what you said about the like the Asian, they had susus. And they were very successful. But as Black people, sometimes we don't feel like we trust. We can give the money, but it's like, okay, are you going to put the money in the susu this week? So, you know, there's a lot of things going on there. But
also, it's a two-sided coin at the same time. Yes, we do want to support each other, you know, in our businesses, but also those people who are the Black business owners, y'all also need to hold yourselves accountable. Like I have supported some Black businesses and like I don't get an email back. I don't know when my stuff is coming in. It makes me hard to trust these Black businesses. So we got to do better too on that.
And that's the thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, I think I'm going to be on the boat by myself again. But you are so right. Now, I will say this, honestly speaking, my mind is already programmed to help Black businesses. Like, if I'm at a fair or what are those outside trade markets, whatever they call them?
Flea market.
If I see Blacks over here and I see another culture over here, I'm going to go to my sister or brother. I am programmed that way. And I think we should be, as Black people, programmed that way to help. Because Asians, they do it. You know, whites, they do it. You know, if they see Bobby and they see they see Tyrone, they going to Bobby. Let's just be real about
Yeah.
it. You know, so I'm already programmed that way to help. But I'm like you, Jamie. Okay, on the flip side, my black people, you
Yeah.
know, be professional, have some
Yeah.
integrity. Now, I'm not gonna call out that
Yeah.
state that I don't know where integrity lives, or one particular booming state. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
How black entrepreneurs are
Yeah.
sweet in that state? Oh my God, doing exceptionally well. But honey, integrity is out the door. And you know, I even had
I
one
know.
gentleman tell me, one gentleman tell me, you know, I said, oh, I like this city, you know, state. I think they're so cool and black people are just on the rise and blah blah blah. And they were like, man, please, those people don't have no integrity. Now, this brother lives in Philadelphia. At the time, he was living in Houston, Texas, but now he's in Philadelphia. And he had nothing but bad things to say. And he's black. Nothing but bad things to say about us, about himself, as
Yeah.
far as business
Yeah.
owners. Not all
Yeah.
business owners, of course. It's never all. But, you know, just a
Yeah.
few rotten apples spoil the entire tree. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Don't snatch those rotten apples out. So that's why we do, when we have those struggles, when the majority of the black businesses have the struggle and growth, it's because of those few here and there, and you know, it's quite few. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
two, but it's quite big that that have these issues as far as no integrity and like you say, won't reply, Jamie. You know, send me, let me know when my products are coming.
Yeah.
Do some bogus stuff or stuff that don't even work or mess it up and don't apologize, get mad about it. But you know,
Yeah.
we have to operate as we see success. So if you see success, if you have this same business as the other race has, and you see everything that they do, if you copy that, because it's not broke, so why would you try to reinvent the wheel, or why would you try to do something? And you can do something different when it comes to much better customer service, or I'm gonna make sure I package my product this way. You know, versus I think we have a little interruption.
I think we're having some static. Yeah.
I hear a little interruption. But you know, when we, you know, okay, I want to do this, I want to do it this way. But as far as how they deliver the product, as far as how they are, you know, professional about everything, you know, they don't try to cheat you out your money, scam you out your money. Copy that.
Yeah.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Copy
Yeah.
what Zig Ziglar has said all these years, the Bob Proctors, the Warren Buffetts, the Damon Johns, the who else, you know, all the Oprahs and the,
Yeah.
you know, copy all of those that have done it and are successful. You know,
Yeah.
and how they, you know, give and how the authenticity there, you know, it's like they're real about it. And you know
Yeah.
exactly where it's coming from. We can't expect perfection. Nobody's perfect. So
Right.
we can expect that.
Yeah.
But what we can
Yeah.
expect fairness is decency. That's
Yeah.
all when it comes to
Yes.
black businesses.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
I know all of us on here are, you know, have our own business going. All of us on here, we have our own little, you know, niche and skill and things that we do that we're good at. And you know, whatever it is that you're good at, be great at it. You know you can do it. You know you got to be great at it
Yeah.
and do your best because it represents you.
Yes, and happy Bill. Before we move on, I just want to say Darian Cunningham comment. I love this topic. It says we have to be able to sell the value of why the product is a higher price. I won't pay higher
Yeah.
just because you are black and I'm supposed to support. So that's a very, very good and
Yeah.
powerful
Yeah.
statement. And
Yeah.
I just want to say, as blacks, that we have to represent. You know, we have to represent. We have to show up in integrity.
Yes.
We have to sell the value of why are we charging this amount, and not just charging for the sake of, just, of course you got to stay afloat, but, be competitive as a business owner and be in integrity. And I just want to say this, as Blacks, we have to, if we're going to support one another, we have to start with ourselves, just being in integrity about what we're selling, about our business, about our product. And customer service, the biggest thing is like, we have to learn customer relations, how to relate to people, how to relate to customers. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Jay, did you have something you wanted to? Jay, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, integrity. The integrity part. Integrity. We need integrity bad. Like when I go get fast food, and for example, I'm getting a black person to serve me, they have attitude.
Yes.
They have all that. The lines be taking forever. Like especially we're in the black community. Just notice this: the food be tasting different, and the lines be long, the service be bad. But when you go to the white community, the food tastes better. The lines, they treat you polite. I was like, and I'm just wondering to myself, like, wow, black people, we lack integrity a lot. But as black people, why we as a race act like this?
Well, I feel like it's a generational thing. It comes from, we were in bondage for, 400 and plus years. And it's like we are learning from, our generation above us, before us and beyond. It's like some people don't have, somebody in their family that knows about business, that knows about customer service. So we're kind of just flying by the seat of our pants, and that's a lot of us, because nobody really wants to invest in educating the black people, helping the black people. So it's kind of upon us to kind of figure out how do we become successful without knowing all these things.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's a very good statement.
Oh wow.
Kim, did you want to add something? Because I wanted to say something. If you want to add something, go ahead.
No, I didn't want to.
Okay.
Yeah. And with police reform, that's what we should discuss.
We are, but I want to add something. I want to add something to the business right quick, because I want to continue to remind, and we always do, because we're about this show. It's about healing the heart, renewing the mind. And Jay and Jamie, you both mentioned about Jay. You more like, well, why do black people think that way, or why are we like that? Why is that the case? And Jamie, you're like, well, it goes back generations. And it does. And the one thing I want to point out, especially coming from us on this show, don't take it lightly, or don't take it as though it's offensive, because it's not. And it's something that you should really, really pay very close attention to, the mindset, your mindset of why you want to get bad customer service when you're at McDonald's. When you're at, I never get it from Chick-fil-A. I don't know about you guys there. I mean, the curses have been broken when it comes to Chick-fil-A. Customer service at an all-time high, A++. Walmart, the customer service, it's coming from us. So think about that. Because then when you want to go off, you may have to start off, never negate small beginnings, but you might have to start off at a Walmart. And then one day you open up your own store or whatever store. And then, someone come in and maybe they're not the friendliest or whatever, or maybe you're acting a certain way. Think about that. Think about how you were to those customers. Walmart scanning, or at the door greeting. So you have to think about those things, and we have to stop. It's not to get offensive, but it's to take note and change.
Yeah.
Change. Do better. When you know better, you do better.
And help each other.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Happy Bill, we have a video, a very powerful video that we want to discuss and share about the police reform and just what happened recently about the 9-year-old girl. We definitely want to bring that before the end of the show. It's a very important topic. So Happy Bill, take it away.
Well, we're going to move on to police brutality. And let's just go ahead and show that video. Let's just say that it's not the nicest thing to see, and it may be a little disturbing. So definitely let's roll the video, Sandrine.
And then Ryan, everyone is taken from CNN.
and pepper in Rochester, New York. We'll show you the video. I do want to warn you ahead of time. It is disturbing. It happened last week. Police have just, though, released the body camera videos of it. Here is what happened before the pepper spray.
I want my dad! You're not gonna run off. I want my dad! Stop. I want my dad!
Now, police say the officers were responding to a report of family trouble. They were told this girl was suicidal. They were also told that she wanted to kill her mom. Police say she refused to get in the police car, and at one point she fell down to the ground and kicks an officer. They say they tried numerous attempts to get her in the car before using that pepper spray. We'll show you the events as the pepper spray unfolds. Again, I want to warn you, you may find this disturbing.
Just there at this point. Dear.
She was taken to the hospital.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's very disturbing. Millennial, what are your thoughts on this?
My thing is, this is a 9-year-old female, and you have these police officers who are males, and for some reason they feel like they can't control her or hold her down, so they get to a point that they have to pepper spray her. Like, I don't understand why that was needed at all. Just put her in the back seat, close the door, lock the door. That's it. She's a child, and you guys are way bigger than her. It was all uncalled for.
Absolutely. Jay, what do you think?
They just wanted to be, I feel like they just wanted to be racist and pepper spray her. And because like you said, she was a little girl. One person can handle, a grown man can handle a little girl.
Right.
So,
right.
And you background just talking about just pepper spray her. So they wanted to use the pepper spray. They wanted to cause into the little girl just because she was making their job harder.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Bullies to me. Like that's all I see them as.
Yeah, that's the right word. Yeah. Bullies. Sick bullies.
Well, you know what? I wanted to ask the millennials too. Like, have you had any experiences that you would like to share, discuss, where you had some things before you say that? I just want to say that in just studying that story where the little girl was a bit aggressive, but they had all the police that was out there. All they had to simply do was to slide her into the vehicle, but because she was kind of just being defiant. And they just, in my opinion, this is not per se true, but they just kind of wanted to punish her because they were upset maybe that they felt like she was disrespectful, to them. So they wanted to use the pepper spray, as Jay said. So, it's just, and especially it's like police should be now well informed when it comes to mental health, because obviously a 9-year-old girl went to get her mother. There's a little bit of mental health things going on. So it's like, are they skilled to handle matters like that? How do you handle matters like that? And I just want to say this really quick before Jay and Jamie speak on this. It goes to show, it's like we're now seeing more than ever in the system, not just social justice, but in the money, in the community, so many different things that's now coming to light. And all these things are happening because change must be made.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really true. When it comes to experiences with police brutality, I feel like a lot of Black people, almost every single Black person has a story. I have been in many encounters, but I would say like my earliest encounter of police brutality and just things that was just totally uncalled for. It was, in high school, being, 14, 15, going to the little house parties with my friends and things. And we lived in Mesquite, Texas. So suburbs, and the cops would come and they'll shut down the party. And it was like at these parties, they're holding their guns out, they're macing you, they're trying to handcuff whoever. And it's like we were just children. None of us had guns. We were just partying, like no liquor even there. You know what I mean? Just innocent partying. And it's like, and that was a predominantly Black party. And so I compared that to going to some of my white friends' parties. Same age, same thing going on, partying, having a good time. And it's like the police would show up, but it was not the same. It was just like, all right, guys, y'all go home.
Yes.
Whose house is this? It's late. It was just different. And that was like my first taste of racism, and it was through police.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Someone that you look up to, authority that's supposed to protect you.
Yeah.
So who's going to protect you from them?
Yeah.
Jay, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on me, to be honest, after my experience, I just don't like police. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there was a time I was in high school. I was coming from the gas station. I don't know. He probably thought I was buying paraphernalia. I had an Arizona. It's in my bag. I'm riding my bike. He pulls me over. I asked him why he pulls me over. He said I don't have a light on my bike. God knows he never pulled. We ain't never seen no one get pulled over for a bike on
Right.
light on the bike, period. So after that, he asked me for ID. I pull out my card. Once I'm trying to pull out my card, he says, "Hold on, don't move. You make it. Now I gotta put you in handcuffs." I looked at him. I said, "I'm handing you my ID. See my pockets for him." I said, "I have nothing on me except my ID." He was like, "No, I have handcuffs. I don't know if you have a weapon." So when I'm in it, he put me in handcuffs. He's writing me a ticket for no light on my bike, and I know it's crap. I know they're just gonna dismiss it when I go to court.
Yeah.
So I'm backseat. I'm looking at him. I'm like, "Sir, why are you doing this?" I'm like, "You know I didn't even do nothing. I'm coming from the store. Like, there's other people. There's a whole bunch of other people around. You're worried about light on my bike." So he finally said the racist, "You're used to this. You and your people are used to this, right?" He was like, "So shut up and listen." Huh? I'm like, "Excuse me?" He said, "You and your people are used to this, right? Just shut up." I'm like, I'm looking at him like, "Oh wow." I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna front. You know what? He's racist. I'm gonna just let him do his thing. I'm gonna get out before it gets worse.
Yeah.
So he gave me a ticket. I went to the court. The judge looked at it, laughed, and dismissed it.
Oh, wow.
So point
That's
blank,
good. Wow.
wanted to mess around with me. Another time, I was just walking with my friends to school. Cops pulled me over. And just guns, drugs. Start checking pockets. I'm just laughing. I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm on the wall laughing because I know I don't have nothing on me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "You racial profiling?" He's like, "Oh no, you guys look like you're up to something." And I'm like, "It's 8:00 in the morning. We're in 8th grade. We're walking to the middle school. What are you talking about?" So it's just a whole bunch of bad encounters with them. And then in Georgia, I was working for a city hall of Sandy Springs. I'm walking to Dunkin' Donuts. I have my security outfit on, but I have a hoodie on, just like this, so you can't see it.
Yeah.
A detective pulled over from Sandy Springs, talking about, hands in the air. Let me see some ID. I'm about to start fussing with him. I'm giving him trouble. I'm like, ID for what? Like, I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts. What are you talking about?
Wow.
So he's like, we're going back and forth. I'm like, "Yo, I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts." Like, why? So I see he's about to like start getting physical with me. So before that, I just opened my jacket. I always keep my security ID right here. I just did it. He said, "Oh my God." He see that I work for security in the city hall. That's like their headquarters police station. He started apologizing and said, "We're looking for a rape suspect." I have an iced coffee in my hand. I'm like, you think if I would have raped someone, go to Dunkin' Donuts after and just walk.
Wow. Wow.
Like, "All right, sir." He was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Oh my God.
So it's just different.
Wow.
I just saw like they're racist. And then I have another cop too. Like, some of them's not all bad. Don't get me wrong. All of them's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His intake. I'm like, why do you think why is other cops so offensive? He said, you got to think of, like, in their shoes too, going to 4 people in the car, all black guys. He's saying that they're scared.
Yeah.
That's that they're scared.
Yeah.
So they're always trigger happy because they're scared. They're really scared. It's not like they're really scared. He said some of them are racist, but most of us are really scared. So I was trying to.
Wow.
The first like, nah, most of y'all still racist. I'm like,
Yeah, while the Black Lives Matter protest was going on, somebody had a cardboard sign up and was like, "Nobody told your scary ass to be a police officer."
yeah.
And I was like,
That's good. That's a good one. And I just want to say right quick, police reform, and when they talk about defunding the police, it's not about taking the money from the police. It's about allocating those funds to training and stuff like that. Like with the 9-year-olds, they were very barbaric with that. They were supposed to have at least one training officer trained on how to deal with people with mental illness, because she started to commit suicide. Okay, so that should have been like a welfare check, not going to arrest anybody. So and even like instances like Jamie and Jay, what they had to go through, they need training for that, because how can you why do you want to become a police officer if you're scary? They need some type of training on that type of stuff. So so that's my, I just wanted to say that really quick.
Absolutely.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Serious Kate, when you said that, I love that too. And I want to say this before, Shalonda, is that one thing I definitely feel is that police officers, because we're all about police reform, what can we do, or what do we think can happen that will kind of help improve? For the police side, definitely, I think mental health is important. So maybe they have to go, because they go through so many different experiences, and to me, they should get psychologically checked maybe every month or maybe every quarter, because after all the encounters they do, it is fair, and for some people it is racism. So it's like how, as a mental health professional, to detect those things, to see, okay, let's have a session to see where you are, to talk those things, those things through. But for us, especially in the Black community, it's like, how do we handle, because we are frustrated. And it's like, thank God Jay was able to diffuse the situation and not escalate it. But sometimes we get so angry and we so fed up that we may react a certain way. And then sometimes we react, the police will react, and it just creates a major scenario. So I think definitely police have to be trained to handle conflict resolution, to know how to dissolve, diffuse conflict. But also for us, it's like we so frustrated, but sometimes how can we kind of not put ourselves in their shoes, but it's like, what can we do? So it's like, what can we do in the community to kind of help the situation as well?
Absolutely. All of these, I mean, just to hear about Jamie's experience and Jay's experience, I mean, to go through that in your teens, and then for Jay as a young Black man to be a harassed, who gets stopped, on the police? I hate that we've ran out of time. This is definitely a necessary topic, especially when you're dealing with the heart and the mind. And when you talk about defunding the police, you could not have said it better. It's not to take money away from them, but to put money into programs so that they can get the necessary and needful help that they need. They really do. They need. Kim Kanini mentioned about mental health at an all-time high when it comes to authorities, when it comes to the police force, at an all-time high. They should go through psychiatric treatment every I would say between 30 to 60 days, every 30 to 60 days. And it is serious. What can we do as a community? I think they need to put some of those defunded funds, those funds, they need to put programs where cops in the communities can come together. Assign cops. I'm like, if you're afraid, why do you have this business? You cannot be afraid being a cop, period. Because you will do something. When you are afraid, you're about survival. You're not about anything else but survival. And we all know it's either you or me, and I ain't going down. And that's what happens all the time. And it's not even about that. And they need to have programs where, because it's mainly our race, let's keep it 100. It's mainly our race. So let's have programs where we get together with the cops in our community, our community, and let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Let's be transparent. Why the hell do y'all hate us so bad? Especially when we have our own cops that are cops too. What the hell is the problem? You see my son, because you never know. And it shouldn't be when we are driving around and we see a cop. I don't know, but I feel some type of way. I just do. I know I have not had any loved one yet. Now that I'm hearing about Jay and Jamie, but I haven't had a sister or brother or a son or someone that has been harassed. But if I were to have that, can you imagine the mothers that have had their sons, Kim, Kaneen, I can only imagine how you feel when your child is totally innocent. We know our kids totally innocent, and because you're so afraid, you're so angry with yourself. We need to understand it's trauma. That is trauma that's going on with these cops, and programs need to be put in place. For these cops. There's so much we can talk about. We're definitely going to have to revisit this topic. Thank you so much, millennials, for coming on with us tonight. You guys are doing phenomenal in society, and keep up
amazing.
I sincerely mean keep up the great work, because you two are doing it and doing it well.
Yeah.
I see great things for the both of you. Great things for both of you. We didn't get a chance to hit on some of our topics like astrology, when it came to the love, but you guys are wonderful tonight. We definitely want to have you back sometime soon. So push some things over your busy schedule. Visit us at Heart Mind Force. And I want to give a quick shout out. This is Black History Month. So we got our first Black History shout out to our first Vice President. She is a madame.
Yes, my soror.
Yes. Vice President. Miss Kamala. I said it right.
Yes.
So we will be doing that every single Saturday night, giving a shout out to our superb, amazing Black history, because we're worth it. Okay. And we will be giving away on our show. So definitely tune in, and next week, oh my God. Now next week it's a combination of love and everything. So just tune in. That's all I can say. We love you guys.
Yes. Before we leave, I just want to make sure. Happy Bill.
Yes.
Before we leave, I just want to make sure that for the millennials, we want to hear your voice. Do you have anything to add, like some pointers, any nuggets, any good points before we leave?
Go ahead.
For millennials, right?
Yes.
If you want millennials, watch this show.
Yes.
Make it on Sunday and the weekdays.
No, right. He is right. Definitely do it on the weekdays after 5 o'clock, because right now it's a Saturday. We out. We out.
That's all.
They said we out. Okay. Well, thank y'all for coming. We appreciate you giving up your
Jada, do you have anything before we go?
Do I have anything? Just be. Huh?
Do y'all watch the recording?
Yes.
Do y'all watch? Okay, tell your millennial friends to watch us on YouTube every day of the week. Any time of the week, of the day. Because you can't watch our videos on YouTube, Jay and Jamie. So just go to YouTube and watch our show.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to say to specifically my Black millennials, just be proud of being Black.
Yes.
Pop it. Let everybody know. Wear your hair how you like it.
Yes,
dress
honey.
how you like it. You Black, and don't be afraid to show that.
That's right. That's right. You said it all. And there you go, guys. We are out. We love you. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.